You're 23, standing in your mother's kitchen in Ohio, telling her you quit your job at the insurance office to sell power tools out of a rented storage unit. Nobody claps. Your uncle laughs so hard he has to put his beer down. Your cousin asks if you've thought about maybe just getting a real job first. Your mom just looks at you the way she looks at a weather report she doesn't like. Worried, but not surprised. Thanksgiving that year, you sit at the far end of the table. Nobody asks about the business. They ask if you need gas money to get home. You don't say much. You just eat your turkey and watch how the conversation flows around you like you're a rock in a river. Something everyone has learned to go around instead of through. That storage unit is 11 by 20 feet. You sleep 4 hours a night on a mattress, shoved between pallets of drill bits and cordless saws you bought wholesale from a liquidation site in Tennessee. Your checking account sits at $312 for 6 straight weeks. You know that number better than your own birthday. Nobody in your family calls to check on the business. They call to check on you, quietly, the way people call someone they think is losing a fight. You don't correct them. You just keep loading the truck at 5 in the morning, driving to job sites, selling tools out the back to contractors who pay cash and don't ask questions. Some weeks you clear $400. Some weeks you lose money on gas. But you notice something. Every dollar that comes in, you don't spend it. You reinvest it. Buy 10 more units. Rent a second storage space. Hire a kid from the community college to help load on weekends for $12 an hour. You learn things nobody teaches you in an interview. How to read a job site before you park the truck. How to keep receipts in a shoebox. How to make a $300 balance look on paper like a company with a future. A year passes like this. Your family stops asking questions altogether. That's the quiet version of losing faith, not yelling, just silence. Silence is worse. Yelling means somebody still cares enough to argue with you. Silence means they've already filed you under figured it out on his own, eventually maybe. Then the second year, something shifts. Not the storage unit, not the truck, just the math. You've built 3 accounts with local contractors who order from you weekly instead of stopping by. Predictable revenue, $41,000 in the bank, all of it earned, none of it borrowed. You go home for Christmas. Your dad asks how business is going. First time in 18 months. You tell him it's steady. He nods slowly, like he's recalculating something in his head. Your cousin, the one who laughed, asks for your number. Says he might need some tools for a side project. Nobody says sorry. Nobody has to. The room just tilts a few degrees toward you. By year 3, you've rented an actual warehouse, 4,000 square feet outside Columbus. You have 2 full-time employees and a website that does real numbers on weekends. Your revenue crosses 6 figures. Your profit doesn't, not yet, but it's close. And for the first time, you sleep in an apartment instead of a storage unit. You buy a mattress that isn't wedged between pallets. It feels absurd, almost indulgent, to sleep flat with nothing digging into your ribs. You lie there some nights, doing the math anyway, out of habit, because 2 years of scarcity doesn't leave your body just because the bank account changed. Family gatherings change texture. Your aunt introduces you to her friend's son, who's also doing something in business. Translation, you've become a category now, not a joke. Your mom starts telling people at church what you do. She gets the details slightly wrong. Says you sell construction equipment, not tools. But she says it with her chin up, and that's new. You still don't talk about numbers with them. You've learned that money talked about too early gets treated like a rumor. So you let the truck in the driveway, the new laptop, do the talking instead. Somewhere around year 4, the business crosses 7 figures in annual revenue. You've expanded into 2 more states, built a small team of reps, automated half your ordering system so you're not the one answering every call anymore. This is the level where the tone in every room changes. Your uncle, The one with the beer asks you for advice now, not tool advice, life advice. How'd you know to start? How'd you know when to scale? He asks like, you have a manual he never got. Your cousin doesn't ask for a discount anymore. He asks if you're hiring. Even the family friends who used to change the subject when you walked in start finding reasons to walk toward you instead. Somebody's neighbor wants to know if you take meetings. You say yes more than you should because some part of you still remembers being the 23-year-old nobody would look at twice. At Thanksgiving, you're not at the far end of the table. You notice the questions get bigger. Not how's business, but what's next? Not do you need anything, but do you think I should invest in this thing my coworker told me about? You realize somewhere in here that your family isn't asking about your business anymore. They're asking about their own future, using you as the map. By year 6, the number that once felt impossible, the one that used to make your hands shake reading your bank statement at 2 a.m. in that storage unit, becomes a normal Tuesday. 8 figures in company valuation. A house with a yard bigger than the whole first warehouse. A wife who never knew the storage unit version of you, only the version people already respect on sight. Sometimes you catch yourself walking the house at night, checking the doors. The same ritual you used checking the storage unit's padlock before you could sleep. Old habits just move into a nicer building with you. Your dad, at 71 now, tells a stranger at a barbecue that his son built something real. He says it plainly, like a fact, not a boast. That sentence takes 6 years to earn and about 4 seconds to say. Your mother stops mentioning gas money. She asks if you need anything for the house instead, and she means furniture, not survival. Somewhere in year 7, an old family friend, someone who once told your mother you were wasting your 20s, reaches out for a job for his son. You hire the kid, not out of spite, just because he's qualified and because it doesn't feel like anything anymore. That's the strange part nobody warns you about. The moments that used to sting stop stinging, not because you forgave anyone, but because you outgrew needing to. At family gatherings now, people don't ask what you do. They already know. The questions change shape entirely. They ask what you think about the economy, about real estate, about their kids' college fund. You've become the person people quietly measure their own decisions against, whether you asked for that role or not. You think back sometimes to that storage unit, 4 hours of sleep a night, drill bits digging into your ribs through the mattress. $312 in checking, nobody clapping, nobody believing. What strikes you now isn't the money. It's the timeline, how slow it felt living it, and how fast it looks from here. How the same family who avoided the topic for 2 years now brings it up first, every single time. You don't resent them for it. You understand it. People don't believe in the plan. They believe in the proof. And proof, real proof, takes years to bake. Nobody can rush it, no matter how badly you want them to see it sooner. You think about how many people quit in that exact silence, in that exact $312 week, because it felt like a verdict instead of just a season. Your daughter is 4 now. She has no idea what a storage unit smells like at midnight in July, surrounded by cardboard and cordless drills. She just knows her dad built something because that's the only version of you she's ever met. You watch your father hold her at Easter, tell her some story about when your dad was starting out, already softening the hard years into something that sounds like an adventure instead of a war. He leaves out the part where he told you to get a real job. You let him. You've stopped needing the record set straight. That's the part nobody explains going in. That the family who watches you struggle is not the same family who watches you win. They're the same people, but they see you differently at every level because their belief was never really about you. It was about the evidence. And the evidence, if you stay in the storage unit long enough, if you keep reinvesting when the account reads $312, If you keep loading the truck at 5 in the morning when nobody's clapping, the evidence eventually shows up on its own. You didn't need them to believe it first. You just needed to still be standing there when they finally did.